Hi everyone, good day. Tala here. This is my fifth video tutorial. Today, I will explain to you the VLOOKUP function and some other popular Excel function that we will relate to our VLOOKUP tutorial. We will also create formulas and simple summary templates. But before we start, I would like to invite you to watch my Excel tutorial for beginners here in my YouTube channel, Pala Opendo. Now, let's start. VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP looks up for a value in a column and then returns the value in the same row from a column you specify. How to go to the function VLOOKUP. There are so many ways to go to VLOOKUP function. One way is by clicking the insert function, which is next to the name box. Here, we have a select function. So we have VLOOKUP, sum if sum. So we can choose here the VLOOKUP function. Sometimes the VLOOKUP function is not available in the selected function. So you need to click the all select category. Or you can also look for the VLOOKUP function by typing in the search for function VLOOKUP. You can enter or click the Go, then double-click the VLOOKUP function. Another way of going to the VLOOKUP function is through the Formulas tab under the Function Library ribbon group. Click the Insert Function command and you will see the Insert function. The third option in going to the VLOOKUP function is by simply going to a certain cell, then you type equals VLOOKUP, then you double-click the function. That's the three way on how you can go to the VLOOKUP function. But for this tutorial, I will choose to go to the VLOOKUP through the insert function next to the name box. So here, then we double-click the VLOOKUP. Under the VLOOKUP function, we have four arguments: the lookup value, the table array, the column index number, and the range lookup. Let's discuss it one by one. Lookup value is the first value to be found in the first column of the table, while table array is a table in which data is retrieved. Example, it is a range or a range name. While column index number is the column in the table array or a range from which the matching value should be returned. Note that the first column of values in the table is column 1, which means column A does not automatically means column 1. Example, your cell range start from column C. This means column C is your column 1. The last argument in the VLOOKUP function is the range lookup. It is to find the match of the first column. Here, I will put false for I am looking for a exact match. You have the option to input true if you want to look at approximate match. Let's have an example for you to be able to understand it better. So I have here data of my friends list. This is the example that I used in my previous Excel for Beginners tutorial. I updated the data and add some details like my friends' profession, their love language, and their asset value. This is samples only and does not reflect the true financial status of my friends. And this is not the complete list of my friends, for there are too many to mention. You will also notice that I already quizzed my panes. So I can see my rows above 3, row 3 and above, and I can see my column A on the left side of my spreadsheet. I also filter my header, and for this example, I already sorted the list of my friends on first name. And I also did a conditional formatting on columns profession and address. Now let's do our formula, VLOOKUP function. First example, I want to look at my friend. I'll input here in J7 my friend and my friend name, and I will look up for her address. So example, I have my friend here, Jack. Then I want to look up her address. So here, we will put our VLOOKUP formula. So we go here next to the name box, click, choose VLOOKUP. Then, so in the lookup value, I wanted my friend name, Jack, to look up the address. So I put J7 on the lookup value. So that's the cell of my friend's name. Then under the table array, I will put the range. So I will put A4 through G10. So that is the range. Then the column index number. So I started my range from here, column A. So this is column 1, and I want to look up the address value. So column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So in the column index number, I will input 4. And in the range lookup, I will type false because I want to find, I am looking for the exact match. And then, okay. So here. So as you can see, my friend Jack address is in Quezon City. So let us look at our list. So here is Jack. Here's Jack. And her address is Quezon City. So to check if our VLOOKUP formula is correct, we will input another friend's name just to counter check our formula. So we will try Sheng. So as I type Sheng here, this is my link to my lookup value. You will see that it resulted to address Marikina City. So here in our list, we can see Sheng address is Marikina City. So it means that our formula for VLOOKUP is correct. Please note that when we are using the VLOOKUP function, we are using it to create a summary, getting the data from a report with a huge amount of data. So if you want to search for or to look for one value only, it is not applicable to use the VLOOKUP function. Instead, you can just simply control find or find that specific name that you want to look at to, and then look at the address. Example, we are looking for Jaren address. So we type Jaren, control find, then we know that this is Jaren, so we just check it, her address here. So for the VLOOKUP formula or function, this is usually used, especially for me, I use it for in accounting to create a summary or to output a report. So at this time, I will have an example in which we will have a table that we will put our VLOOKUP formula. So here we have a simple template in which I would like to have a summary of my friends who are accountants. So as for checking here, I have 3 friends who are accountants: Chris, Harry, and Sheng. So I inputted their name here in the table. And now we will put our VLOOKUP formula here. So what we wanted is to look up for the specific friend's address. And in the next column, I would like to see my friend's assets. So let's put our formula. So we click the insert function, then we click at the VLOOKUP. So the lookup value is Chris, so it is J12, cell J12. And then the table array is from A4 through G10. So the column index number is, the address is number 4. So what I did here is that I put numbers so that I count it from the uh, first range column of the range. So address is in column 4, then I input 4, and then range lookup false. So here I can see that my friend Chris' address is in Manila. So what will I do since I will be doing a report? So I'll just copy the formula down. So what happens is that I have a data here in cell K13. So let's check if the data are correct. So J13, the lookup value is correct, while the table array move, because as we copy down one row down, what happens is our table array move one row down. So what we can do is that we will adjust this data, the table array. We can type it here, the range, or we can move here. So there. So that is corrected already. So let's enter. So Harry, my friend Harry is from Mandaluyong. So next, let's check the copied formula for Sheng. So we can see that the lookup value is correct under Sheng, but the table array moved 2 rows downward because as we copied our formula, it moved. So we need to adjust. So I adjust it here. So there. So Sheng's address is in Marikina City. So right now, it seems that there's no problem because we have few examples only, but it is important to check your formulas because especially when you have huge or many line items, as it moves and you are doing your VLOOKUP on that on the data on top, so it's possible that you will have an error on the result while putting your VLOOKUP formula. So it is best that you check your formula just to make sure that your output data or report is correct. So next, we will copy this one to the left, to the next column for the assets. So we copy this one. So we have an error. So it says NA. So what we will check the formula. So the lookup value move. So it should be in J12, but it moved to the address because we move 1 columns the right. So we return this one. And then we check the table array. We can see that it also moved. It moved 1 column to the right. So we return it. And then let's enter it. Wait. Let's double check. So our column index, as we copy it from the address, the column index number is 4. So as we copied it, the formula is still number 4. So we need to change it. So since asset is under column 7, so we need to change this one to 7. There. So Chris asset is 3 million. So now we will copy again our asset, who are two more friends below. So let's check again the VLOOKUP formula. So as we check, our VLOOKUP value is correct, but the table array moved one row down because we moved it one row down. The formula, we copied it one row down. And the column index number is correct already. It's already 7. So next, let's check this one. So as we can see, the VLOOKUP value is correct, but the table array moves 2 row below because as we copied the formula, we move it 2 row below, so the table array also move. So we need to correct this one. So you can correct it by typing here the range, or you can do it via formula bar, but you can also adjust it through here. You can adjust this one. So I choose to adjust it. So my column index number is 7, so it is just copied, so it's correct. So at this point, we can see that the VLOOKUP formula is you can use it to put even much more columns, or whatever your report requires. What is important is just we need to check the formulas that we inputted, especially if we are moving or copying the formula from one row to another or from one column to another column. This time, we will have a example in which our range will not start in column A. For us to have a different formula, so you can remember or understand more about the VLOOKUP. So this time, our lookup value will be from column B, the last name. So I adjust here my notation. So since our range or our lookup value will start from column B, so this will be column 1. So column B will be column 1, column C will be column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6. So this time, we will create a summary of my friends from Marikina. So as we can see here, I have two friends from Marikina, Grace and Sheng. So I inputted their last name. For this summary, I wanted my lookup value to be the last name, which is in column B. So last name is Manansala and Bumatay. So this time, we will do our VLOOKUP formula. So insert function, choose the VLOOKUP, double click, then we will go to the arguments. So this time, our lookup value is in J19. So the last name of my friend. So the range starts from column B. Then the table array is, so we'll start from B4 through G10. So since my lookup value, the extreme left is the last name, which is column B. So next is, what is the column index for profession? So as we count from last name or column 1, so the profession is under column 4. So we put in the column index 4. So the range lookup is we input false because we wanted the exact match. Then we click OK or we enter. So As we can see, my friend Grace Manansala profession is a doctor. So I will copy it to my friend Sheng. So you will notice that um, my friend Sheng, as I check the formula, it moved again one row down. So I need to manually adjust the range. Wait, let's check. Enter. Next, we will copy our formula to the left. I wanted the data as part of my summary, my friend's love language. So here, we can see that we have an error. So let's check the formula. So my lookup value move one column to the right, so we will return it. And my table array move one also to the right. So we will fix this one. And we will change our column index number from 4 to 5. Okay, there. So let's check. Grace Manansala, her profession is doctor, and her language is act of service. So here, then let's check it with my friend Sheng Bumatay. So my lookup value is still correct, but my table array move one downward. So let's adjust this one. So my column index number is 5. So that is correct. Now we will put our VLOOKUP formula in the asset column. So search formula VLOOKUP. Oh, we just copy here. Copy the data from the column love language to the asset. So we have an error. So let's check the formula. So our lookup value move one column to the right. So we will adjust this one. And our table array also move one column to the right. So we will adjust this one. So, and then our column index number. So, since we move it to the asset, so we change it to number 6. Okay, then we copy it for Shen. So, let's check the VLOOKUP formula. So, our lookup value is correct, but the table array move one row below. So, we adjust it. And then our index column number is 6. So it is already correct. So as we can check, my friend Sheng Bumatay, her profession is an accountant. Her love language is receiving gifts. So this is already correct. Our formulas are already correct. And her asset is 6 million. So that's how we do or use the VLOOKUP formula. As you notice that as we make the VLOOKUP formula and have our template, what happens is that we need to, as we move our formula one row below and one or two columns to the right, what happens is that we need to always change our formulas, to double check it and to change our formulas. So right now, I will discuss to you the dollar sign. So the dollar sign, it will be a great help for us to make our formulas in the VLOOKUP more easier, and we don't need to uh, change every time we go one row down and every time we go one column to the right. So I'll discuss with you the dollar sign, and I hope na this will make our VLOOKUP formula much more faster. So let's discuss what is dollar sign. Dollar sign lacks the columns and the row. Example, we have here example A3. So, example, we link this one to column A3. So, like that. So, the data is Chris. So, now, this time, we will use the dollar sign. So, first, um, A3, A is the column, A is the column, 3 is the row. Here, you can lock the row and the column. You can simply also don't lock it. You can just like that one. And you can also lock only the row. Yeah, like that. Or you can lock the column. So now let's discuss what happens when you put the dollar sign before the columns and the row. So when you put the dollar signs before the columns and the row, it as you copied it or move it, it will not change. It is the formula will be fixed. So while when there is no dollar sign, example, there's no dollar sign before the column and the row, as you copy and move it, it will change. So we will have a example later on how it will change. So next is let's have a combination. This time we will put dollar sign before the column. So what will happen? The column will not change because it is locked. The dollar locked the column. But the row can change. As we move it, it will change. While when we have a combination that we lock the row, as we move it or copied it, the row will not change. But since the column is not locked, the column will change. So this is how it works. So let's have a simple example first on how the dollar sign work, and then we will, after the discussion, we will apply it in our VLOOKUP formula. So here we have an example. So we will link it to our cell A3. This time, there is no dollar sign before and after, before the column and even before the rows. So, as we drag it and copied it, you will notice that it moves. So, like this one, this is the data. Copy the data here. So, you can see that the columns move as well as the rows move. But when we put dollar sign before the column and before the row, so let's try to copy this one. So you will notice when you move it in any row or in any column, what happens? It remains in J3, in cell J3, because we lock the column and we lock the row. This time, we will have an example where we will put our dollar sign before the column. So it will lock the column, but we will not put dollar sign before the row. So this one, it will only lock the column. So it lock same data from column A, but it did not lock the row. So we can see that as the row move one row below as we copy the formula, and two rows below as we copy the formula. Next, we will lock this time the row. And we will not lock the column. Oh, wait. So we copy and move it. you will notice that the row is locked. So we are in row 3. Even we move it, it is in row 3, but the column changes because we did not lock the column. Now, since we know how to use the dollar sign, we will apply it and use it in our VLOOKUP formula. So here, this time I will do my VLOOKUP by simply typing equals VLOOKUP. So here, we will click the VLOOKUP function. Then the lookup value is here, J10. So this time, we will lock the column so that even if we go to the right, it will not change. But we will not lock the rows because we need the formula of the rows that it will go down as we copied it downwards. So we lock the column under the lookup value. Then comma, we input our table array. So A3 through G9. So this time, we will lock our columns and a row. So together, we will not simply lock the columns or the rows only. Instead, we will lock the rows and the columns so that as we move it anywhere, since that is our range on the VLOOKUP formula, it will stay there. So we lock A, we lock the 3, we lock the G, we lock the row. Then next, comma, the column index number. So I'll be getting the address. So it's in column 4. So I type 4, comma, false. There. So Chris lives in Manila. So this time I will copy it going downwards. So you will notice this time we don't need to change anything because we already use the dollar sign so that we can lock either both the column in the row or either the row only or the columns only. So we will copy it on our next data that we needed, the asset. So this time you can see that the lookup value did not move. The table array is still fixed. So this time what we need to change is only the column index number because the asset is in 7. Column 7. After doing that, so you just drag it down. So you don't need to change every now and then the lookup value, the table array. So the dollar sign is a great help for especially for VLOOKUP as we do our formulas for VLOOKUP. So this time we will even improve more our formula. So using the dollar sign makes our copying and moving our formula from one row or from another column makes it easy. So this time, I will edit the column index number because as you can notice, that's the only data or formula that we change from time to time as we move to the next column. So this time I will show you how to adjust or to change the column index number to make even much more faster your VLOOKUP formula. So let's have here a summary of my friends I am creating who lives in Marikina. This time I want to make a summary of their profession, their love language, and their asset. So this time, I already manually inputted above here, above the header, the column index number. Under profession, it is under um, column 5. Then the love language is column 6. Here I put 6. And then the asset is in column 7. So this time, we will have our lookup value, the first name. So let's type our formula. Equals VLOOKUP. Double click, choose the VLOOKUP. Then it already open parentheses. Then the lookup value is Grace. Then what we will do, we've learned that we need to lock our columns. So that when we move to the right, the columns will not change. Then our table array or the range is A3 through G9. So since we also have a fixed range, we will also lock not only the columns but even the rows of our range. So we lock A, we lock 3, we lock G, we lock 9. Then comma. This time, we usually input the column index number. So since this is column 6, so we type 6 in the column index number. This time, for this is under the column profession, so this is under column 5. So we, on our earlier example, we need to type based on the VLOOKUP formula, we need to type the column index number. So what I did was I put the column index number above. So I don't need to type number 5. Instead, I will link this to K16. So where my column index number is. So this time, what will I do is I will lock the row. So even I go downwards, it will not change the row. Then I will type false, comma false. So let's see. So this time, we copy this one. So Sheng is an accountant. So our formula in the VLOOKUP function is our VLOOKUP values okay. The table array is good. And our column index is fixed already in the column. So let's drag it to the right. So you can see we don't need to change anything. We don't need to, through the help of the $sign, we don't need to change the lookup value, the table array, even now, even the column index number, we don't need to manually change because we already inputted all the data, or we added some data in our table. So what happens is that we just need to input the correct formula, put the correct $sign in the correct position. Then we simply drag it, and the template automatically updates. So this one is correct. So our VLOOKUP value, our table array did not move. This is under column index 6, and that's it. So you can see here, example here, we counter check our data. It's truly correct. So we have here Sheng, the asset, the 6M. So here is Sheng, asset is 6M. So that is another tips on how you can do your VLOOKUP. For you to really more appreciate it, let's try to change our columns here. So this time, we would like this to be data in column B to column C, column 3, and address column D, column 4. So we copy the header. So our header is already updated. So this time, we will update the column number. So the last name should be 2. So you will notice as we change this to 2, it automatically updates. Then the age, column 3, and the address is column 4. So there. So putting or doing additional formula is will help you to make your existing function even much faster and easier for you to do things on your reports or in your summaries. So for us to appreciate it more, let's add the uh, profession, love language, and the asset here. Let's complete the table. So what we will do, this will be 5, column 6, and column 7. So, wait, 7. So, simply copy, then it's done. So, let's copy the asset. So, the total asset is 11 million. So, that's how the VLOOKUP works, and also with the help of the dollar sign. This is the last part of our tutorial. I will discuss one usual error encountered when doing a VLOOKUP function. So earlier, we see the NA, the number sign NA means not available or no value available. So here we will have an example. Let's do an example here. So example, I erroneously input a name under this summary. I inputted Tala. So what happens is it has an error. So you can see we have an error because there's an error because I am not in the list. So that means I am not included. So to fix this error, usually this is important, especially for those with totals, because you will not see the correct amount or it will not output a number because it has an error. So to correct this one, we will just add another function which is if error. So to correct this one, we will go to the formula. After the equal sign, we will just type if error. Then open parenthesis. Then we will go to the end. We will type comma 0 close parenthesis. So what happens instead of NA, it will put a 0 data. So since we already our formula is already correct, so in the VLOOKUP, so we simply copy this one. So you'll see that all 0 because I am not included in the friends list. So I hope that this will be a great help. But before we end, let's have a quick recap of what we learned today. So number 1, we learned about the VLOOKUP function and how to use it. We learned about the dollar sign and how it will make our VLOOKUP fast. And please take note that the dollar sign formula can also be used in so many ways, in so many formula or function, not only on VLOOKUP formula. And third, we learn about one of the VLOOKUP error, the NA or means not available, and we resolve it by using the if error function. Then the NA error is eliminated. That's it. Thanks everyone for watching this video. I hope that this will help you and make your task faster and easier using VLOOKUP formulas in Excel. Watch out for my next video. I will be doing Excel tutorial for intermediate and advanced expert. I will also make tutorials on shortcuts, Excel tips and tricks, and my next video, one of my next video will be about the pivot table, one of the most popular and the most requested Excel tutorial. If you like this video tutorial, you can like, comment, share this video, subscribe in my YouTube channel, Talo Opendo. This is my 5th video tutorial. I hope that I will improve more on my next video. Thanks everyone. God bless. Stay home and keep safe.